Alright, so it seems that update 40 is actually here, kind of a lot earlier than I expected. Although I guess I should have guessed, seeing as how Dreadbloom did end a bit earlier this week. But anyways, it's here, so I guess here's checking out. As you can see, the main feature of this update is the new hero, the Spirit Walker Corvus. Also a new extra map, and also a pretty interesting change here where you can challenge any boss in any map with the new boss challenge feature. I am glad they kind of added that in natively, and so I guess you don't really need mods for that anymore. Anyways, let's go check him out. I think he's probably the most expensive hero we've got so far. I don't think any other hero has cost $7,000. So it's quite a lot, I will say so. A pretty cool hero. Definitely takes some inspiration from Oben, as I can kind of see right here. Also, there is a new, I guess, tutorial for Corvus, which I guess is nice. Looking at the kind of update video for Corvus, he seems pretty complex to say the least. Anyways, here comes Patch. Corvus, the Spirit Walker. There is a long history to the spellbook through which he channels power to his spirit companion. The spirit targets and attacks balloons anywhere on the map at Corvus's command. Corvus haunts a single balloon at a time in his radius. When the haunted balloon is popped, it explodes, giving an influx of mana to the mana pool based on how many layers the balloon had. Corvus is best placed where you can see lots of balloons to haunt. He requires a steady stream of mana to keep casting spells, so even though the spirit has full map range, it's a good idea to place Corvus near the front. Interesting, interesting. Kind of like a combination of Helipilot and Necromancer. Having to have balloons in range in order to do damage definitely does remind me a bit of Necromancer. Also, we can't really buy any spells yet. I was going to buy some because we were kind of struggling, but I guess it's fine. And then you probably plan this out. Alright, I'm just going to say my theory right here. I think Corvus is definitely Oben's brother, or at least cousin, something, because they look way too similar for them to not be related. Anyways, while there's a lot of different spells with unique functions, there are really two different types of spells. Corvus explained this last week. Hold on, let me grab my notes. The 4 spells kept at the top of the spellbook cost mana to cast, but also drain mana over time. You can cast and dismiss these spells as you wish. They're very powerful when active but consume a lot of mana. The rest of the spells are cast with a one-time mana cost and don't drain mana over time. Each have their own duration before they go into cooldown. Okay, let's see some spells. The Spirit can handle most of this round, but cast Repel and it will clean up all the balloons. Which one's Repel? I'm guessing this one. Oh, that's Spear. There is no... Oh, this is Repel. Okay, so it like pushes balloons back kind of in range. That's interesting. Also, we're not gaining any power because all the balloons are being popped right here and not here, so it's been unfortunate. I think it should be fine. And cast Spear. What does Spear do? The Spear gains a slow firing energy spear. Never mind then. With all that spells casting, it's easy to run out of mana. Corvus' level 3 ability, Soul Harvest, pops balloons in his range, replenishing mana in an instant. Use Soul Harvest when there are lots of balloons near Corvus. Maybe try out the Spear spell to help you pass around. Better get going, Corvus is looking restless. I'm sure he is. Not really sure when to do that. Spear. Fire, slow firing energy spear that arcs off small chain lightnings each time they pierce. I guess I'll use the ability now. That didn't really do as much as I thought it did, but oh well. Let me try out Spear, see what that does. Let's cast that. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, this drains mana over time too, but I mean, interesting. I can already tell I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this here. So it seems like we can sort of have pseudo uptime with that ability if Corvus does enough damage. At higher levels, Corvus gets access to new spells and even learns more about spells he already knows, making them more powerful. The Spirit Companion also gets way stronger along the way. Let me dismiss this so I can actually go looking. Corvus is at level 9, cool. I don't really remember what his level 10 did, but I guess we'll worry about it. Let's check some of this out. The Spirit grows in size and attacks faster. I don't think we need that right now. We're chilling. Malevolence, the Spirit merges with the spellbook, releases an intense balloon popping mist around Corvus. Storm, the Spirit unleashes an onslaught of energy blades. Interesting. There's a lot of spells here. I wonder if any of these are permanent. Sacrifice all mana and convert into hero XP. Wow. I'm assuming that's not a 1-to-1 ratio because only getting like 800 XP max, I don't feel like does much. Soulberry. Temporarily uses mana in place of lives when balloons get passive defense. Oh, that's cool. So I'm assuming you can have that max up to 800 lives, which is not really too broken. Vision. Temporarily lets the spell see camo balloons or remove camo property from anything hits. Okay, so Corvus can't naturally see camo, or the spirit I mean, so I guess that's going to be the camo popping there. That's everything I'd written down. Remember, he mentioned his ability to cast multiple spells at once, but he didn't expand on it. There's a lot more to learn about Corvus. Maybe one day we can learn the whole story. For now, use some cool spells on the coming balloons. Maybe try casting some at the same time. Alright, so let's see. I'm assuming this is Corvus level 10. Oh, it just moves Corvus around. I think this is fine where he is. There's not really too many good spaces on this map. So first things first, I guess we'll just kind of go in order. So let's try aggression. What does that look like? It becomes very red and angry. And I wish they would send out some harder rounds because this guy's just kind of camping near the settings icon. Interesting. Now let's try out Malevolence. The spirit merges with the spellbook, releases intense balloon popping mist around Corvus. Okay, so that means the spirit is gone, but we do gain this kind of a pseudo Inferno Ring attack. That's interesting. Storm. The spirit unleashes an onslaught of energy blades. Let's cast that. Interesting. There's no other tower that I can think of that's kind of unique stat, but that's pretty cool. Repel we already saw. This one's pretty expensive. The spirit splits himself in two. Commands sent to one are sent to both. The echo always targets first. Let's cast that. That seemed interesting. Yeah, that just kind of doubles, I guess, the popping power. So I guess if you have enough mana, you could cast this and then aggression. Yeah, you could cast both of these, and that would be pretty cool. But the upkeep on that is pretty bad. I can't afford vision, so I guess we'll just keep this around. Actually, what does this third ability here do? Well, it doesn't matter because that ability can't see camo anyways. So I guess I do need to keep some in mind to keep some stuff for the vision. We saw Malevolence, we saw Storm. Haste, the spirit movement and turning speed are greatly increased. I don't think we'll worry about that. Also, that's a rainbow. So let me get that down. Don't need to. I think we already kind of know what haste would do. Trample. A stampede of spirits moves down the track, crushing balloons as they pass. Also, let me get aggression because that's the entire Saram. Kind of worry about that. We are starting to get mana up a little bit quickly, so we are kind of doing a little bit better. Let's get spear down. Let's see. Trample. Interesting. Let me dismiss this. And then let's see. Frostbound. The spirit freezes balloons that hits for a short amount of time. So it's kind of like Ice Monkey, or I guess Druid with the monkey knowledge. Ember. Oh, it can't pop purples. That's interesting. Alright, so which upgrade here does allow me to pop purples? Because I was not paying attention a little bit. Or I might have to just use the ability, which would be fine. I'll kind of keep aggression up, because why not? Astral Might. The spirit merges with spellbook, channeling hand of the Ancient One to do massive damage. This is kind of expensive, so I'm curious to see what this is. It doesn't pop purple still. Let's see, would having Corvus down here do anything? Probably not, as we're doing a lot of damage. What if, let's try Soul Barrier here. If I, oh, it's like a mana shield, interesting. That's pretty cool. So I guess I'll tank all the purples in. Very interesting. I'm assuming this doesn't work on chimps because that would be pretty OP. Also, I'm assuming that Corvus's level 20 spell is this one right here, which is why it's still grayed out, even all this time later. Let's see. Vision we saw. What about recovery? All spells are stopped, all attacks are paused. Corvus and the spirit go into deep meditation to replenish spells at a rapid rate. So I'm assuming that if you have a bunch of spells on cooldown, you just use this ability here, and they would immediately kind of refresh. I'm gonna try out Nourishment to see what it's like. I had like 600 whatchamacallits there and it didn't really do too much. 600 mana. So I mean, yeah, it's not really like super efficient to kind of do, but I guess it's there to help out in a pinch, not really to kind of be like main damage dealing there. Whoops, we're struggling against Rams. I'll just use cast. This spear ability is going to be pretty broken. That's like pretty good. I kind of wonder if Corvus would be really good for racing. And I'm just kind of looking at his abilities. You know, they aren't half bad. Spear, I think, could definitely be useful for kind of, you know, balloons and races. And I feel like that's probably maybe about it. Maybe Storm, depending on how much the energy blades damage do. Alright, Moab here. I'll kind of just use whatever I can. I'll use blades. I'll use trample. Oh, it's like Sawdust Sword Charge. Okay, that's interesting. So I guess Corvus is kind of like a all-in-one hero. I definitely do see some elements and aspects of like other heroes or the towers. This is kind of like, reminds me of Helipilot, but you just can't really micro it. Also, let me use Spear here for the ceramics. Alright. Now I'm actually going to go back because I want to see a little bit more of what Corvus can do here. We didn't actually even get up to level 20, so I guess I'll just go on to, I don't know, logs standard. See what level 20 Corvus is like. He costs 710 on easy standard, so he's definitely not a cheap hero. Get him right here. So let me read some of his levels because we didn't really do that last time. Level 2, Spirit grows in size, Soul Harvest, we saw that. Spirit does more damage, learn Frostbound. I guess I'll kind of read these as we go along. Some of these just seem to be just either stat buffs or just kind of inconsequential. Now, it's a pretty interesting hero. Definitely very complex. A lot of thought kind of went into this. Although my main worry with this isn't really kind of beginner friendly IMO. I mean, I guess the general concept isn't really too difficult to understand. It's just kind of, you know, there's a resource here that fills up whenever you pop balloons in range. Also, I completely forgot that I need to have Corvus in range in order to be able to actually get mana here, so we're not really getting a whole lot, but I mean, I guess that's fine. I guess balloons when start getting here is when we're going to start using spells. But like I said, you know, most of the player base here is very casual. Not really too, I guess, try hard and sweaty. And I guess, you know, Corvus having like, you know, 70 million like different like abilities. This is basically what they are. These are kind of like abilities. They're just kind of like reskin. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that's just what it seems like to me. So I mean, some of them aren't really too hard to use. Like, you know, the vision one where, you know, if there's a candle balloon on the screen, you'd use that and you pop candle balloons. But I can imagine, you know, looking at this, it would feel pretty intimidating just having all these like abilities and whatnot here and just not really knowing like what to do with them, when to use them. And like, not to mention Corvus has like 3 abilities, hero abilities like kind of natively. So I guess that would also be another thing. Not that he's a bad hero. He seems pretty interesting. I am pretty excited to try him out on Chimps mode, see what he kind of is like. But that'll be for another day. Also, I'm still kind of confused as to which ability here can actually pop purples. I'm just going to kind of cast Soul Barrier once the purples get in out of range. And I'm going to use some Nourishment here just to kind of boost up his leveling. See if I can kind of get level 20 as soon as I can. Now another thing I didn't get to test out is that the Spirit can pop leads. I'm assuming it can. If it can't pop purples, I'm assuming that it can pop leads. I'd be kind of disappointed if it can't. No, it can't pop leads. Let's see. I can't really afford Ember. What about Aggression? Nah, it just grows in size. Anyways, I'll just get base up down then. Oh, cool. Even more purples. I'm generally curious to see which ability hit. Maybe Trample. I think Trample probably can. It one-shots purples. That's quite a lot of damage here. Anyways, I need Vision, because I can't see camo currently. So I feel like kind of timing Vision is definitely going to be crucial for kind of rounds like, for kind of like DT rounds. seeing as the fact that the cooldown for that is kind of long to where it's not even up for like the entirety of 33. So the yellow's just kind of whizzed on by. Anyways, I'm actually going to Spear Walk Corvus up here. Now, when I look at this on closer expansion, like Corvus is kind of what I assumed Etienne was going to be, kind of at launch, like minus the spellbook. I kind of assumed that like his flying drones would at least be like kind of global full map range, and was a bit disappointed when I found out it's only like limited range. But I think that's fine, IMO, kind of like looking at it now. But here I definitely do think that global range is kind of interesting, as it does kind of force you to kind of utilize the Spirit Walker, because if it was only the limited range, then there wouldn't really be too much of a point of like using this ability to try to make Corvus get in range of the balloon so he can actually get mana. And the cooldown of this ability is actually like pretty fast. More leads. Thankfully, the Spear ability can clutch this up. I was right. Spear seems like a definitely kind of OP ability. I don't really know, maybe it just has like poor single target, that might be the trade-off there. But as I kind of look at it right now, Spear just seems really powerful. Especially for kind of like early game shenanigans. I kind of wonder if I move Corvus up here and then just have Spear like constantly going off, if I can have it up permanently. Or is it drain too much mana? Yeah, it does. We're like almost out. Let's try out some of the abilities I didn't get to try. Let's try out Ember, see what that's like. It leaves fire on the track every few seconds. So it's kind of like Wall of Fire in a way. Yeah, there really is like Wall of Fire. Wow, that's pretty good. Let me get balloons kind of down here, so Corvus can actually get mana here. For mob DPS, I think we should be fine. I feel like if I cast Aggression and then Spear, I feel like that's probably enough. Oh yes, forget Spear is kind of bad. So I guess Spear is bad single target, but in trade-off is that it's pretty good against just kind of group balloons. So I guess it'd be helpful for like rounds 80 plus, but not really too much for kind of mid-game stuff. Or maybe for round 63. Now I'm kind of curious to see how fast Corvus actually does level here. From kind of looking at it, we're at level 8 right now. I've been using Nourishment kind of a little bit of like on and off. So he seems to level pretty slow. If I had to guess, probably as slow as Churchill, maybe up to like the ranks of like Churchill and Adora, if I had to put my guess on it. Which I guess is fair and makes sense. So I can kind of get Energizer on the field so that way it can level up just a little bit faster. And I guess since, you know, we got Energizer early, I can solo all these rounds pretty easily. So let's be sure to use Nourishment whenever I can. Anyways, I think we've now officially achieved the infinite money glitch in BTD6. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten patched out. But anyways, I guess that does mean we can start actually power leveling Corvus here. We still haven't unlocked this ability, which I guess is unlocked at level 13, Overload. The spirit detonates with overwhelming energy. A moment later, the spirit rebuilds from the wispy remnants. So I'm kind of wondering if this is like ground zero in a way. That's the kind of vibe I get from it. Also, I think we can, at this point, we're kind of earning enough mana from the balloons that we could just, we can just have Aggression up permanently. Also, I forgot that, Aggression doesn't grant lead popping. I'm kind of curious to see how this guy does against PvP. So let me get Echo here, and just to see. And I guess maybe once it gets in range, we'll use level 3, this is. I guess when it pops down to Cerams. We got a decent amount. And so I'm kind of curious to see how Corvus will do against round 63. I guess we could always use the Overload ability. Also, let me try out Ancestral Might, because we didn't actually get to see it kind of during the tutorial. It does change into a hand. I can't really did it just one-shot that Moab? It did, it like turned it into Cerams. Wow, that's actually a lot of damage it does. Although it went away, and that cooldown really is long. Which I guess makes sense, seeing how it did perform pretty well. Alright, so I'm curious to see Corvus' Soul Harvest. How much Pierce does it have? Also, Aggression just one-shot Cerams, that's pretty good. Let me turn Aggression off so that way I can see Overload, see if it's kind of like ground zero. Or maybe like a contained ground zero. Oh yeah, I forgot Energizer like kind of screws this up. So I guess I'll have to use Spear. Just pop all the leads. Not being able to kind of control this guy is probably going to be a bit annoying. Cast. Okay, so it just completes like a wave 3 of 63. And so just kind of short time after that, you don't have access to the spirit anymore. But it's pretty good. I don't really know how much damage it does, but it seems to be quite a lot. It has a ton of Pierce too. Anyways, let's get level 20 Corvus now on around 65. What does he do? And his design looks pretty good. I like it. I have to say this is probably one of my favorite hero designs so far. I'm curious to see what his skins would look like. So what is level 20? The spirit base damage increases and does extra damage to Moabs. Ancestral Might does more damage. Overload does more damage. Interesting. Now as you can see here, it's one-shotting Rainbow, so that definitely is a lot of damage is doing there. Even one-shotting Cerams at this point. Yeah, one hit Cerams at like 3 hits regular mobs, BFBs. Again, also no issue. Unfortunately, still no native chem detection, but I guess that's fine. I'll just move kind of Corvus up front since we're doing so much damage at this point that, you know, balloons aren't really going to be getting too far. Let me see. I guess I'll test out aggression around 80, see what that's like. See if we can kind of like one-shot. I don't expect it to one-shot ZOMG, but I do expect it to do significant damage, seeing as it's able to one-shot Cerams. So let me just give a village. Does a village grant Corvus camo detection? So if I give this guy camo detection, does this mean that this guy will be able to permanently see camo? It seems that it's able to, as this ability is on cooldown. So I guess that's nice. So this guy, the spirit does enhance kind of gain the buffs from gain external buffs. I wonder if this applies to something like, let's say, I don't know, like Permabrew. As depending on the tower, if it has like another tower like Etienne, for example, giving Etienne Permabrew doesn't actually buff the drones, if you didn't know. So overall, my opinion on Corvus is pretty positive. I do think it's a very complex hero, as you can see here, which is probably what Ninja Q was going for. I kind of wonder how, I don't know, the community breaks him. I'm assuming they're going to find either some like exploit or something that makes it so that way, I don't know, he ends up like 1TCing chimps like Geraldo was able to do that one time. As well as Sada too. Around 78, again, no joke. Lots of piercing damage on this guy. But yeah, I do like him. It's kind of like an interactive necromancer. You know, you do have sort of a mana ability. I kind of wonder if like someone in the Ninja QE team like really loves wizards or something, because they've kind of had like two towers now that kind of have like a wizardy, I don't know. Let me cast Overload, see how much range it does. Overload did not do as much as I thought it would. But even at level 20, there's still no purple popping, I've noticed. And it doesn't seem like any of these towers enable Corvus to actually be able to pop purples. I'm gonna get this guy under a MIB to see if that remedies situation, which it probably will. Yeah, it's like an interactive necromancer. I'm kind of noticing a kind of a pattern here where it's not really a pattern, but like back to back. Or I guess not really back to back, but they've kind of rapid firely kind of like released 2, I guess, features within the game that have like a wizardy mana system so far. The first being the Wizard Paragon, and now kind of Corvus here. So I guess they're trying to incorporate more sort of interactive features kind of within the game, which I do appreciate. Kind of a lot of towers, well I guess not really a lot, but like majority of the towers are kind of a little bit of a set and a forget type of thing, where you just kind of place them down, they do damage, and that's fine. And I'm not saying like, you know, every tower needs to be Corvus, because that would be pretty exhausting, and it'd get pretty hectic trying to manage this like kind of constantly with like several different towers. But I guess they're trying to incorporate more unique and like kind of interesting like strategies of play aside from you place tower down, it just does its thing and just goes on. So I guess it's to kind of keep players kind of engaged in the game. Okay, so let's see how good this guy is against a ZOMG. So I'll use Echo and Aggression here. How much damage is this guy doing? It's not too bad. It could be better. If I use this, that doesn't actually fill it up to max, surprisingly. I kind of do want to use... I'm going to turn Aggression off. and then wait for this ability to come back up to see how much damage I can use with overload. And then if I overload, what happens? That destroyed all of it destroyed all the BFBs into Moabs. I don't think it layer skips because those Moabs seemed undamaged to me. So it kind of reminds me of like Rickwell's Megamind, how that also doesn't like skip layers as well. But yeah, I think I'm going to stop there. Corvus is a pretty interesting, definitely a unique hero. I'm kind of excited to see like kind of what the community like does with him, as I feel like he does have a lot of potential to be a pretty decent, maybe like an A or B tier hero.